One of the last main concepts that we do in Chapter 9 is changing mixed numbers into improper fractions. And this comes up a ton when we talk about subtracting. When you have a mixed number like 3 1/3 minus 2 2/3. So we can subtract the whole numbers, but when we get to our fractions, we can't take away 2 from 1. So we have to change our mixed numbers into improper fractions so that we can subtract. So I always explain that we're going to multiply our denominator by our whole number, and then we're going to add our numerator. And the reason this works is because our whole number really is 3 sets of our denominator. Our denominator is 3. And I have 3 plus 3 plus 3, which is 9. And 3 times 3 is 9. Then our little fraction is how many pieces we have left over that are not whole. So 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. So this becomes 10/3. Okay, then we're going to subtract 2 2/3. So 2 times 3, and then add 2. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. So this improper fraction is 8/3. So then we're going to do 10/3 minus 8/3. And then we go back to the same way that we subtract fractions, like fractions with the same denominator. 10 minus 8 is 2, and then we keep our denominator the same. So 3 1/3 minus 2 2/3 is 2/3. Let's do another example. 4 7/8 minus 1. Let me change that. 4 6/8 minus 1 7/8. So again, we could subtract our whole numbers, but then when we get to our fractions, we can't take away 7 from 6. So I'm going to change each of these into an improper fraction. 8 times 4 is 32, plus 6 is 38. So 38/8 is our first improper fraction. Next, 1 times 8 is 8, plus 7 is 15. So 15/8. Then we're going to do 38 minus 15, which is 23. 23/8. Now, we don't really want to leave our answer as an improper fraction. So then we're going to go back to a previous video, if you forgot how, and turn our improper fraction back into a mixed number. So I like to do the long division. So we're going to divide 23 by 8. And I'm going to ask, how many times can 8 fit into 23? If I do 8 times 3, that's 24, so that's too much. So I'm going to go to 8 times 2, which is 16. 23 minus 16 is 7. So I have 2 remainder 7. 2 becomes our whole number, and then 7 becomes our remainder becomes our numerator, and then we keep our divisor as the denominator. So 2 7/8. So 4 6/8 minus 1 7/8 is 2 7/8. There are a lot of steps, so this one problem required me first to change each into an improper fraction and find that difference. Then I had to turn this improper fraction back into a mixed number. So many steps for one problem.